Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in Dubai. Thank you, Wanho, Ziad. It's my first time in Dubai, an amazing, amazing city. You should all be proud. I want to tell you about this journey that the New York Times has been on in going mobile. First, I was digging through the archives of the New York Times. You know, it's a 160-year-old newspaper. And I found what I think is probably the first mobile news device. So this photo from over 100 years ago, or almost 100 years ago, to me is really a representation that reading news has always been a mobile activity. Now you can still see it today. I took this picture myself on the New York City subway a couple of months ago. It's actually a very rare event to see people reading newspapers on the subway, sadly, because the New York Times still makes most of its money from newspapers and not from the digital side, but that's changing. Because today, you're more apt to see this. And I saw Ziad and Wanho up here with their little iPad minis. I have my phone in my pocket. This is the sort of typical way that people read and consume news on the go today. So I have a prediction to make. Basically, today is the lowest number of people, the least amount of traffic, the lowest engagement you'll ever have on mobile devices, because tomorrow and the day after that, it's always going to increase. In fact, for today, this year is a kind of special year for the New York Times. It's probably our crossover year. So in April, last month, we had 44% of our users on mobile devices. Now we look at mobile as smartphones and tablets because, just the way people use these devices. And actually we see this convergence happening between tablets and smartphones anyway. But next year at this time, we predict we'll have this crossover where more of our traffic will be on mobile. Now it's still kind of 50-50, but play it out another year and you're 60-40. Play it out till 2016 and almost 2/3, perhaps even 3/4 of our traffic will be on mobile. That's a huge change and a huge shift in our business, in our priorities, and how we think about technology, how we think about the news. So what is behind that? It's not just the growth of these devices, which are quite amazing, but really changes in the way people interact with their devices. People think about the news. So let's take a look. Major news events for us are driving mobile usage in a way that they haven't before. Now you're always going to get this sort of increase. But if you look at sort of the last year or so, you see this real spike in mobile usage whenever there's a big major news event. So here's one way of looking at the numbers. Here's another way. Now you could sort of see these big sort of patterns of things happening over the last couple of years. But more recently, with our latest presidential election in November of 2012, we had this enormous spike in mobile usage. And again here, and the Boston explosions, just this enormous increase in mobile traffic as people are insatiably hungry for news and information. So what are we doing about it? Now, it's interesting, as little as 6 years ago, we had one mobile application. I couldn't even find a picture of it, so I just used our little T there. Today, we have more than a dozen mobile apps on all major platforms, on every device and counting, as we've expanded our mobile device manufacturing capability for software, maybe 10, 20-fold. So let me take you through a little bit about what that's all about. So of course, Android is our fastest growing platform. Windows 8 probably our newest, and we just released a BlackBerry app as well. We have an HTML5 app, which is a really interesting bit of development for us. It allows us to experiment in ways that we can't in this sort of native app world. So we do trending articles, we do the most popular, but we're also giving our more traditional readers a view of today's papers. So we're saying, if you want to say that the touchstone of your news experience is today's paper, you can have it there. And of course, Apple and iOS is our most popular platform in the US, and really was the beginning of this sort of mobile renaissance and sort of smartphones as Apple and really invented that category with the iPhone. Now, the mobile experience for news for us initially was very austere and almost stripped down. We really just wanted to give our readers the news as quickly and as cleanly as possible. It lacked the richness of our website and all the interactivity, commenting, user-generated content, interactives, video that our traditional platforms had. Now, when you think about how social mobile is, that was a big mistake, but one that we had to do. So today, we're really thinking about how do we bring not only the richness and interactivity of the desktop to mobile, but take advantage of the unique properties of the mobile device. Personalization, location awareness, so that's the path we're on. So let me take you through a little bit of that. Now, one of the main strategies we have toward getting an audience to our mobile news sites is news alerts. Now, I'm sure most of you have downloaded apps and it'll say, okay to turn notifications on, and maybe you sort of don't say, because you can get overloaded with notifications and all of a sudden your battery is dead 4 hours later. So we feel that if you personalize news alerts and use them judiciously, you can see huge spikes in audience engagement and loyalty. So let's take a look at how we're doing this. Now, let's take the Boston bombing, which just happened about a month ago, as a kind of a case study. So you can see when we did our first news alert, traffic increased 8 times on our mobile devices alone. Throughout this developing story, when the FBI released images of the subjects, traffic went up 3 times from an already high base. And then finally, when the suspects were put in custody, traffic increased 6 times. So you had this enormous increase in traffic just through alerts, but we're not really stopping there. We're looking at what other techniques can we use to bring the richness of the desktop web to mobile. So live video is another major strategy of ours, and video expansion as we think about how people are using these devices. So we have the president speaking in Boston in the State of the Union. We're really using that for live events, as well as curated video and video coverage in general. Live updates are another important factor. Live blogging, this sort of bringing the kind of immediacy of mobile to our own news report. You know, when we look at things like Twitter and we say, well, how do we compete with that? We kind of partner with Twitter in terms of releasing our news, but we also take on that rhythm and cadence of updating as often as we can, and then use the richness of our newsroom to step back and do the kind of broad, thoughtful analysis that the New York Times is known for. Interactives, kind of a hallmark for the New York Times, is our great data visualizations, our beautiful sort of way we kind of express content and visualize data and allow our readers to kind of interact with our tools. Now, this was an interactive map we did about Hurricane Sandy, where you could really track the hurricane up the coast on your mobile device. It was very popular, as long as you had cell phone service, of course, which went out in the hurricane. We're not stopping at news, though. We already have some very popular verticals that take advantage of localization and our listings. So our real estate vertical, which allows you to search for real estate throughout the New York metropolitan area, can locate you on a map and then show what open houses are around. It's a very popular app. We're also in the listings and restaurant space, really showing our readers who are either visitors or locals what all that New York has to offer. So a really good question is, how do we make money from all this? And how does any digital publisher make money? 2 main answers: advertising and subscriptions. And for us, obviously, both have been very important. Mobile, the way things are going, this is a problem we have to solve. I don't think anybody has truly solved the conundrum of how do you get the kind of high ad rates that you're used to in digital, not to mention print, on smartphones. Tablets are another story. And we hope that as tablets and smartphones converge in terms of their screen resolution and capabilities, we can bring more of that sort of richness to all mobile products. So let me show you a little bit about our tablet advertising. So this allows us to do custom ad units. It also allows us to bring advertisers in a way that's just not possible even on the web. So this is a little case study of a app takeover that we work with Ralph Lauren to do. It's pretty amazing, really stretched the boundaries of what's possible in this medium. Kind of an app within an app. So they took over our whole app. It was a beautiful content partnership, live events, they streamed a fashion show, and they integrated e-commerce, so you could actually buy from the Ralph Lauren store right within our app. Now, it's a very popular model. We think there's also an opportunity when it comes to distributing our content on other mobile devices. So we created a platform called NY Times Everywhere. In other words, let's say you don't want to download the New York Times app, or you like one of the aggregator apps. So we worked first with Flipboard as a major case study. So our goals here are to expose our brand to this wider audience, to be where our readers want to be, wherever they want to be, and partner with other aggregators or other leading brands, and really to entice those readers who aren't maybe regular New York Times readers to subscribe. So as I said, Flipboard was our first case study, and it's going very well. The engagement on Flipboard has been amazing. Over 1 million new users accessing New York Times content, 14.5 million flips, which is the Flipboard's word for page views. So we're also broadened out with Bing Daily Home Screen. We'll be launching on Google Currents and others with this program. And we'll be launching our APIs, which are ways to access our content in ways for other app publishers and developers to take advantage of that. Now, subscriptions are also obviously a really important mechanism for us. A little over 2 years ago, we launched the paid digital subscription model. We have today over 650,000 digital subscribers on all of our platforms. We take kind of a bundling strategy. We don't let people just subscribe to the smartphone or just subscribe to the tablet. We'll sort of create combinations for them. Now we're creating, we see opportunities really at both ends of the demand curve. Higher priced products for New York Times loyalists who want it all and then some, and lower priced products for those who really think our bundles are too expensive today. So our most loyal users buy all digital access, but we're also thinking about what's specific to mobile and the way people read news and interact with news, that we can create products that are really almost mobile first in their editorial content and editorial delivery. Unfortunately, I can't show you examples of that yet because they're still in development, but very soon we'll be releasing them. Now, we're also going to reintroduce new vertical products and content areas like food and politics and opinion, sort of to take advantage of really the specialized nature of the app world and that audience. And we're going to redesign our core NewYorkTimes.com website. We have a major redesign plan for 2014, really make it more mobile friendly and make it more beautiful and interactive on tablets and smartphones. And by the way, we just released an updated version of our mobile site, which is incredibly fast, incredibly easy to use. And we've seen traffic there. We're also not stopping. The New York Times has a history of innovation. We really want to be on wherever the next mobile device is. So we were the first to come out with the Google Glass app. It shows breaking news alerts delivered in real time with audio alerts. I don't know how many of you have seen Google Glass, but it may not be the product that really takes off. We don't know yet, but that's part of the challenge, is saying, let's keep innovating to be wherever that next thing is. And I believe that wearable computers is really the next frontier. So here's a little bit about what Google Glass looks like. It's pretty cool. I'm not wearing mine today, but you can see it. So what's all driving behind this is, for us, a culture of technology and innovation. at the times we believe that great technology is as important to our success as great journalism. And we work together to really have an environment where journalists, technologists, business people are all peers. And you can sort of see that in the commitment of the company to mobile and everything else. So here's our mobile team in 2007. Here's our mobile team today. That's kind of a part of them, actually. We've grown our development staff almost tenfold over the last 7 years. It's been pretty amazing. So that kind of culture of innovation is a big reason for us to stay out in front of other news organizations and really play with the bigger companies out there, because we believe that for media companies to succeed, they need to act as much like technology companies as anything else. We're also not just looking inward, we're thinking about how do we partner with other companies, how do we sort of take advantage of the best innovative ideas in the marketplace. So we recently started a program called TimeSpace. So what's TimeSpace? We have a beautiful headquarters in New York. We have basically said, okay, we're going to pick a few really interesting companies and give them space in our offices. They sit right on the floor with my technology team. We pick 3 little startups and we share ideas with them, and they kind of give us ideas. We also partner with other companies, and we have a long history of investing in other technology companies and thinking about what are the major trends, how can we learn from others. So it's a pretty exciting lineup and exciting things we're doing. So when we think about our mobile universe, we know that just as the web disrupted print, mobile is disrupting the traditional web, and we're really even thinking further, what's going to disrupt mobile? What's going to disrupt the things that are happening now? And we know our best defense is to innovate around this. So, as I said, plan major redesigns of existing apps. We're launching new paid products next year to give our readers the best experience. So we don't know what's going to come next. Maybe Google contact lenses? Who knows, right? But one thing I think about is the pace of innovation is so quick that perhaps a few years from now, even, today's mobile apps may look as quaint as this. So thank you very much.